Are you looking for the lightest, most affordable backpacking stove on the market? The BRS 3000 might just be it. This review will rate this piece of gear, testing its performance, durability, and practicality for backpackers and campers. Hi, I'm Tim and welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a short-term review of this new stove pot combo that I've been testing out on my last few campouts. It's the BRS 3000 stove combined with the Toke 750 milliliter pot, which is sold separately. So let's jump right in with the price. $18 for the stove and just $28 for the pot. There isn't much to say about the pot. It's a great piece of kit, but in this view I'm going to mainly focus on the stove as I have more to say about that. But just quickly, the pot works as advertised and retains heat reasonably well. For the stove itself, I think the shining feature is the price. $18 is a steal in my opinion. Second to the price would be the size. It is super packable for all kinds of camping. For car camping, I would probably bring something more robust, but for backpacking and motorcycle camping, this is a great option to save on weight and space. The other standout feature is the size. The stove weighs only 25 grams, or about 0.88 ounces. Let me just go over the pot stats briefly, then we will get back to the stove. The pot weighs 3.6 ounces, or about 103 grams. It's made of titanium and it's not coated. It has a capacity of 750 milliliters to the top, and there are marks on the inside that measure in milliliters. It comes with this mesh sack and can nest with a small fuel canister. Back to the stove. It is gas powered, so you do need fuel for this stove. The maximum energy output, according to the manufacturer, is 2700 watts. As I said, it weighs just 25 grams. Also, according to the manufacturer, it can boil 1 liter of water in about 3 minutes. I will test that out in a few minutes though. Most of my stove experience has been with the Jetboil Flash, which I have been using for a very long time. So I am going to compare it a little bit to the Jetboil. This of course weighs much less than the Jetboil and packs much smaller, features that have become important to me since I started backpacking. The Jetboil is fast though, which I think definitely has value too. So depending on what you're looking for, both are good options for different applications. I also think the Jetboil is better in windy conditions. I haven't been able to really test the BRS 3000 too thoroughly in the wind, but I will keep you posted as I get more experience with this stove. As far as setup and ease of use, this stove is as simple as any other stove. Basically, you just unfold the support arms, make sure the valve is off and twist it onto the canister. Speaking of that, this is not a super stable setup. It does require a relatively flat surface to balance well, but that is just the nature of stoves that rest on top of the fuel can, so it is to be expected. Also, using the smaller can contributes to this issue, but I think it's a minor issue, but it is at least worth mentioning. Also, the pot supports are pretty small, so it will only work well with smaller pots. For solo backpacking, I think a small pot works well, but if you're cooking for more than one person, you might want a larger stove pot combo like the Jetboil. Okay, let's test this out and see how fast we can boil a half liter. So the boil time on 500 milliliters is about 4.5 minutes. I don't think that's too bad for what this is, and it's not designed to be the fastest option, just the lightest and most affordable. And as far as fuel efficiency, I think it's decent. As I said earlier, I don't really have a ton of experience with this stove in the wind, but I assume it won't be great in the wind unless you can set it up behind a rock or something to block the wind. Also, as far as performance, it isn't great for simmering or cooking anything much more complicated than just boiling water. For me, that's the most important, as I am typically eating rehydrated food or pasta, which works well with the BRS and the Toke's pot. As far as durability and reliability, this is something I'm still testing, but I do think the stove is pretty durable. It's also simple, so there isn't much to break with it, especially if it is safely stored away inside your pot. I really don't foresee any issues with durability, and as for the pot, it also seems pretty rugged, but it is ultra lightweight, so it is made pretty thin. So I would be a little concerned with denting the pot if it's stuffed away in my backpack or side case. You could just store it wrapped in something puffy to protect it if you're concerned with that. Overall, I think durability is good. I also like the carrying case for the pot that has a little cushion to it, adding a little extra protection. Reliability is also good. It's a pretty simple setup, so there isn't much to fail on this stove. But so far, it has worked as advertised every time I have used it. Let's go over a few pros and cons of this setup. For pros, it's ultra light at only 5 ounces, or about 140 grams for the stove and pot combo. You really can't get much lighter than that. And it also is at a very affordable price for only $43 for both, compared to something like the Jetboil Flash, which is about $100. So definitely easier on the wallet. It's also simple and efficient for just boiling water. The cons that I came up with are that it isn't the most stable for larger pots, so if you are in a group setting or sharing a stove, something more stable might be a better option. It also has less wind resistance than other options, but I do see it lasting through as much use and abuse as my Jetboil, which is still going strong after many years of heavy use. For my final verdict, I think this is definitely a great setup for backpackers and motorcycle campers alike. It's perfect for ultralight, budget-conscious campers, or anyone wanting a barely noticeable backup stove. If weight is your top priority and you're mainly boiling water, this stove is hard to beat at this price. Overall, I'm very happy with this purchase, and I will be sure to keep you updated as I get some more time with this stove. There is a link down below to both the stove and the pot if you did want to check them out on Amazon. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.